A recent Valve-sanctioned CSGO tournament with major qualifying implications and big-name teams like Na'Vi, Virtus.Pro and Gambit competing was, well, a total disaster. From no anti-cheat to zero stream delay to a swath of cheating allegations, those same teams were fed up and have signed an open letter to Valve asking the developer to investigate the entire event. Alright guys, do it all. Do everything you already know I'm humbly going to ask you to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss new content, and if you have a story idea you want to see us cover here on Don't At Me, send a tip to tips@thescore.com. Running throughout the month of May, the Epic League was a CSGO tournament hosted for regional CIS teams like Na'Vi, Virtus.Pro and Gambit.
There's the swing, good for one. 1v1 with s1mple. s1mple on the jump spot means Hobbit has to desperately try to reload in the corner. Tag down further. s1mple, can he finish the job? Continuing to just toy with his food. Jumping for the jump spot. Hobbits, he can't risk going for this bomb, and s1mple falls to Hobbits.
If you know anything about CSGO, those names should clue you into the fact that this was a notable event with quality competition involved. Add in the fact that RMR points were up for grabs, and yeah, this tournament was more than just target practice for the likes of s1mple. RMR, or regional major ranking points, are what teams compete for in these smaller regional tournaments in order to qualify for Valve-sanctioned majors, which are CSGO's most prestigious tournaments. And each tournament win, or let's say top 5 placement, earns a team a certain amount of points. And it turns out that even tier 1 tournaments with big name talent involved can be a shit show, which is absolutely what this was. Organized by the Russian Esports Federation, or RESF, and Epic Esports Events, this tournament had no third-party anti-cheat, no stream delay on GoTV, and apparently team comms were just never recorded. And if you're new to CS, those things are the staples of maintaining competitive integrity for basically any tournament, whether it's online or honestly on LAN. Now, the implication of the no third-party anti-cheat, no stream delay, or no recorded team comms is that it would have been incredibly easy for someone to cheat if they wanted to, which is exactly what 14 out of the 16 teams who competed accused this org Akuma of doing in an open letter they wrote and signed to developer Valve, which was published on June 3rd. Quote, "We want to share our feedback on the CIS RMR held by the RESF. Our mutual concern is a suspicion of dishonest play from the Akuma team and players. Based on the information we have, we suspect that the Akuma team and players received live data from third parties on external devices in order to gain the unfair advantage of seeing opponents' position on the maps at all times." End quote. Now, let's back up a second. I first got wind that something weird was going on when, on May 29th, s1mple tweeted out about the lack of no anti-cheat, recorded comms, no replays, or the lack of information regarding 5th, 6th place matches for the tournament. A few hours later, this statement from Zort, who plays for Fours, started making the rounds on Twitter, and he reiterated what s1mple said: no anti-cheat, no stream delay, and no recorded comms. According to Zort, all anyone needed to watch the games in real time and therefore have the ability to stream snipe other competitors was the password to GoTV, which apparently was the same one for the server. Now, Akuma, the org accused of cheating, went on a bit of a run throughout this tournament, defeating the likes of Na'Vi and Virtus.Pro. They would eventually finish in 3rd, losing to Gambit in the upper bracket finals. This would have been impressive were they not facing widespread cheating allegations from pretty much every team involved. Then on May 30th, a Reddit post started circulating with a shit ton of clips allegedly showing Akuma cheating. Here's some of those clips now.
Под одну флешку сейчас будут вылетать на саппортов и читают это, ребята. Ой, как неприятно сейчас может быть, если стрельба пойдет у этого калаша.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой, 19 секунд, тут молик вылетает.
Не столько атака здесь доминирует, как может показаться. Но я уже говорил, что, скорее всего...
Сенсею 46-й фраг для него. 46-22. Вы просто представляете, что происходит.
Так.
Это точка А и постплейн ситуация для команды Гамбит. 1-2.
И ребята имеют все шансы, скажем так. Ух ты! Сенсей попадает еще и по нафане просто.
Now, to be honest with you, there's nothing in those clips that explicitly yells cheating to me, and I haven't watched CSGO long enough to pick up on the subtle micro movements that could tip somebody off to the fact that somebody else might be cheating. But again, this tournament used no anti-cheat outside of the Valve-developed VAC, which, let's be honest, is a f***ing joke and apparently wasn't even enabled for the tournament. And Akuma is being accused of everything from using radar hacks to aim locking software. Then later that same day, the RESF released a statement regarding the cheating allegations against Akuma. Quote, "During the internal and external investigations, a large amount of information was collected about the actions of Akuma, the work of GoTV, and the line administration of the tournament. The analysis of this information did not reveal any evidence of compromising the administration of the tournament and the work of GoTV. A review of Akuma players, their hardware and software revealed no signs of foul play. We have collected all of the necessary information to make a decision, notified Valve and ESIC of the situation, and are ready, if necessary, to conduct a retrial with their participation, providing the full amount of information we have collected." End quote. They ended their statement by saying the Epic League closely follows all Valve-related guidelines, which is funny considering, again, they had no third-party anti-cheat, stream delay, or recorded voice comms, all things that pretty much every other TO would have in place. Also, apparently, the matchmaking was an absolute shit show. At first, Na'Vi and Entropic mutually decided to cancel their match at the last minute, which is unusual, and to make things even more weird, then it seemed like they were going to have to split 50 RMR points between the two teams. But then they did end up actually playing that match that was canceled, and Na'Vi ended up winning 2-0. On top of that, apparently the grand finals was switched at the last minute from a best of 3 to a best of 5, which is really not what you want to see if you're a team gearing up to compete. Then on June 1st, speculation continued to circulate that Akuma was suspected of, quote, "using additional assistance during the RMR event," end quote. Apparently all relevant information is going to be collected and sent off to the Esports Integrity Coalition, or ESIC, for review. ESIC is an independent body, a watchdog of esports of sorts. They investigate, analyze, and pass down their recommendations to tournament organizers regarding all sorts of alleged infractions within esports. We've talked about them a bunch on this show before, and I reached out to them for comment on this situation, but never heard back in time for publication. It's safe to say that the community was buzzing about this controversy throughout the week. Na'Vi's head coach joined HLTV's Confirmed podcast on June 2nd to talk about the situation and straight up said he believes Akuma 100% cheated.
Personally, I think that they were cheating like 400%.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially Sergis, you know, this guy, the way how he actually push some positions. We knew that he would push some positions. And at the end, he pushed them, but all the time it was when we were not watching him.
Now, we still haven't heard back from Valve on this, which is honestly not surprising. Like my coworker Dimitri said earlier when we were talking about this story, Valve could come out with a comprehensive response tomorrow or just never mention it, like, ever. Okay, back to the open letter signed by 14 out of the 16 teams. I wonder who didn't sign it. Akuma. Sorry, got something caught in my throat there. The letter states that while the RESF found no violations, these teams don't quite believe them because of the following reasons. Quote, "TeamSpeak communications were never recorded. Teams repeatedly questioned this decision and asked that all communications be recorded, but their requests were dismissed. The RESF explained this with the fact that recording TeamSpeak communications was not in Valve's requirements. However, we believe that recording TeamSpeak communications has long been the norm for every big tournament, not to mention the qualifiers for a major. There was no third-party anti-cheat, which has long been an industry standard and the additional tool for any leading TO. In some of the matches, there was no GoTV delay, while in others, there was a delay of up to 30 seconds. From there, the teams that signed the letter laid out their expectations for tournaments of this caliber in the future, including recorded TeamSpeak comms, a third-party anti-cheat, and a delay of at least 30 seconds. Now, I honestly believe that if this had happened at an FPL level or even an MDL semi-pro level, nobody would have batted an eye. The reason why this is such a big deal is that it's happening at the highest level of Counter-Strike with implications for the biggest tournament of the year on the line. The idea is that this level of quality, or rather lack thereof, should never be happening at a Valve-sanctioned event. Whether they're Valve mandated or not, industry standard guidelines should be followed to a T, and the absence of something as simple as a third-party anti-cheat throws up red flags left and right. This is something that Blade highlighted in that episode of Confirmed that we played for you earlier.
Yeah, there was no anti-cheat. There was no delay on GoTV. So it's like I think they tried to be not the best but the worst. And of course, the whole little details in terms of how they operate specific matches like admin, TeamSpeak, and everything like this. Like after Blast and ESL, it's a huge difference. You feel it, and you think that how is it possible?
Now, for the sake of competitive integrity moving forward, it would make sense for Valve to come out with some sort of statement about this situation. But then again, Valve and common sense have never really gone hand in hand. So for the time being, all we can do is sit back and see what happens. These ones aren't scented. Usually I get scented ones, because I mean, who the f wants to smell that? But whatever reason, these are not scented poop bags. And don't worry, they're not used. I'm not like some sort of psycho. I don't think this would fit on my head if that's about as close as I can get, you know? I don't know what you want from me.